thrill of the kill has drawn big game hunters to South Africa for generations. And out on the plains, man can still hunt his most feared predator.
Your heart rate will increase, your breathing will quicken, it'll become shallower. You need to get a hold of yourself. You need to breathe deeply, calm down, and fight these emotions and the physical effects thereof so that you can make a calm, clear, clean, one-shot kill.
Veteran hunter and conservationist Peter Hamilton Flack hunts lions in Africa's most remote wildernesses. He knows all too well the risks of a misplaced shot. Lions can cover 100 metres in 5 seconds flat. One bite can crush a human skull.
There'll come a time when he has enough and he will decide he is now going to take care of business and hunt you. And quite honestly, that's a terrifying prospect. This is an animal that can kill you with one swipe of a paw, one bite of its mighty jaws.
It's the danger and the adrenaline rush that keeps the hunters coming. And once they get a permit, hunts like these are perfectly legal. But sometimes the encounter between man and beast isn't what it seems.
This male must be around about, I would say, he's 12 to 13 years old.
Welcome to the murky world of canned hunting, where lions are bred for one reason: to become a hunter's trophy.
Canned hunting is where the target animal is unfairly prevented from escaping the hunter. Now that can be either through physical constraints such as fencing, being shot in an enclosure, or it can be mental constraints such as being habituated to humans.
They're not wild lions that are living in prides in the open, free spaces of Africa. These are lions that have been hand-raised. They've been bred specifically to be killed.
Recently, the practice made worldwide headlines. Self-styled hardcore huntress Melissa Backman has made a TV career out of shows devoted to hunting. She's targeted everything from impala.
You can see, range put a pretty big hole in them.
To black bears, lured in by the promise of food.
It didn't penetrate deep, but within moments I knew it was fatal.
What a great sound.
But it was posing with a smile with a lion she'd shot in a canned hunt that turned her into a global hate figure. A lion hunt starts years before a trigger is pulled or an arrow is shot. I've come to one of the 180 safari parks across the country where members of the public can pet lion cubs. These little fellas are just 1 week old. For a few dollars more, tourists can enter the enclosures and play with slightly bigger cubs. They don't mind being touched? Most of these young lions have been taken away from their mothers just a few days after birth. Otherwise, even at this tender age, they would be too wild to handle. Walking with lions is another tourist favourite.
Okay guys, remember not to single yourself out of the group, because they do hunt the ones that's not in the group. Those are the weaker animals.
These two lionesses are just 2 years old, but can easily kill and devour a human. But exposed to regular contact, they don't feel like much of a threat here.
How long does it take to train them into that?
Take about a month. If they do something good, they know they'll get a reward. If they do something bad, they know they will get just a little tap on the nose. It doesn't hurt them.
Yeah.
Just to remind them who's boss.
Yeah, it's like how you train kids.
Yeah.
The lion parks are a draw card for foreign volunteers. Hundreds come to South Africa every year to hand-raise cubs. Many believe they're here to help save the lions, but in truth, they are often directly supporting the canned hunting industry. Rachel, from Perth, paid $3,000 a month for the privilege of working in a lion park.
You believe kind of what they tell you, which is it's for conservation, and they'll tell you that the animals there, once they're big, they go to game reserves and they get sold to other breeders to, you know, keep up the gene pool, that kind of thing.
Concerned at the sheer number of cubs being produced, she began asking where they were ending up.
And I found that the animals were just basically disappearing. Nobody was really, they were very cagey, put it that way, about saying where they were going. And there was never any warning. They just, you know, you'd wake up early one morning to go and do your usual work around the place, cleaning enclosures and stuff, and they'd be darting and loading up lions to go who knows where, because they wouldn't say for sure.
Right, so what did you then do to find out what was happening?
So I just did a lot of research, did a lot of Googling on various names that were cropping up. And yeah, I found some really quite disturbing things in terms of links that the farm had to various people who were known animal dealers. There's links within links within links of these animals eventually making it to canned hunting concessions, mostly in the Northwest Province from what I could make out.
Canned hunting is big business that reaps big money. It can cost upwards of $30,000 for the kill of a big male. By the age of 3 or 4, a lion that's spent its life in a small enclosure can suddenly find itself in the sights of a hunter who has little or no experience of shooting big game.
Just squeeze it. Shoot again. Underneath his chin.
I've seen a lot of such footage, and every single time it makes me feel completely sick.
Fiona Miles runs a charity that rescues lions. She says canned hunts are well choreographed and designed to get a quick result. Sometimes the lion is still drugged from transport, sedated or lured in with meat. Confined to a specific area, they're easy to track, and after a life of captivity, they're used to humans and easy to kill. When a lion that's been hand-reared or around people so long is put into that controlled hunt situation and they see humans, what do you think is going through their mind? What's their response? From experience and from what I've seen, they would see that vehicle and those people as a source of provision of food, provision of whatever it is that they need. So in a controlled environment, that vehicle coming should probably have, you know, this week's meal on the back of it. The hunting lobby says, well, this does help conservation because it reduces the motivation for killing lions in the wild. In the last 20 years, the wild lion populations have declined by 80%. So there's no argument for that because the canned hunting industry has increased in the last 20 years dramatically. So there's no evidence to suggest that that's what's happening. More than half of canned hunters come from the United States, many more from Europe. But here, guided by professionals, it's a Russian tourist who has his quarry in his sights.
Shoot him in the neck.
His target is the ultimate prize, a male in the prime of his life.
You like it?
Destined to have his head stuffed and mounted on the wall.
There is no relationship at all between trophy hunting and canned hunting.
Chris Mercer has dedicated much of his life to saving South Africa's wild animals. After running a wildlife sanctuary in the Kalahari for 7 years, he's become one of canned hunting's most outspoken critics.
Your canned hunter is not really a hunter. All he is a trophy collector. There's no skill involved, there's no time or effort put into the hunt. He just goes to the enclosure, it's all set up for him. He just draws the bowstring and executes the animal. And then he will pick up his family at the 5-star lodge he's staying at, and they'll go off to the casino for an evening. That's the sort of canned lion culture.
Chris has brought me to Chakani Predator Park on the southern coast, where visitors are being tested with a trick question.
How many of you guys, we've got cubs here, would like to go and touch and play with a lion cubby?
At Chikani, there's no breeding, no walking with lions, no visiting volunteers, and above all, a strict no petting policy.
I really hope that everyone who sees this program will never indulge in cub petting, because all the cubs who are petted will end up being shot by hunters. And what the cub petting tourist does is to put money straight into the pockets of the canned hunting industry.
Our association's requirement is that such lions may not be hunted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So lions who've been in the petting zoos are not hunted?
They are not hunted. We require that the way that lions for hunting purposes are reared and kept must be as far removed as possible from the human environment.
Peter Potgieter is the head of the Predator Breeders Association, whose members supply lions for hunters to kill.
I just need to be very clear on this, because conservationists I've read say there's a very real link between the petting zoos and commercial hunting, controlled hunting of lions here. They say those lions, when they grow up, they are hunted, because where else would they go?
It used to be like that.
Okay, but where do those lions go when they grow up? They're being rented by breeders, I believe, to the safari parks. They're sent back to the breeders, so where do they go?
Many of them die from natural causes. Many of them are sold off to overseas game parks, but not many of them end up in hunting.
Some do, though.
I will admit that. Yeah. It is not possible to make a very clear distinction. To prevent that, absolutely, it will take some policing.
According to Peter, the stigma attached to hunting captive bred lions is purely a result of people's ignorance.
And this perception had been filled by films like the Disney pictures about Lion King, which created the idea that a lion is king of a kingdom. He has servants, he has a court, and he can speak, and he can do all funny things like singing, for instance. And this is the problem that we are having. While from a conservationist point of view, there's no difference in principle between a lion and any other game species.
To understand more, I'm heading into the heart of South Africa's lion business.
The vast plains of South Africa's northwest province are a major centre for lion breeding and lion hunting, controlled lion hunting. And we've come here to meet a lion breeder who also supplies lions into the hunting trade.
I find Koos Erasmus picking up chickens to feed some of his captive lions.
The bigger prides I've given the whole carcass yesterday. So today is only for 2 females that's on their own. Giving them a carcass is just too much. So chickens is ideal. Okay, shall we take a drive?
With his wife, Koos runs a breeding facility and small game reserve, where you can hunt a host of South African species. Lions are his speciality, and those he raises are kept as wild as possible.
No walking, no petting, no playing with the cubs. We don't do that. I don't think it's right. Petting it today and tomorrow you shoot it. We as an industry, as the Predator Association, distance ourselves from that.
Every lion here is either destined to be hunted or kept to breed more lions. Koos is the only one who feeds them. The animals I see have a different temperament to those exposed to tourists.
Let's go slowly closer, maybe.
This lioness is protecting her 2 new cubs.
See that I'm 10 meters away, so if this being a hunting situation, she would charge all the way. I mean, you could see her hissing and charging up to the fence, telling us to go away. So in a hunting situation, they would definitely charge without a doubt and attack. No, they're definitely not tamed.
He may be dealing with Africa's apex predator, but for Koos, his business is no different to that of any other farmer. The problem, he says, is that lions stir emotions that other animals don't.
It's a pure farming operation. Same as what we've got with cattle and sheep and even sable and buffalo. It's a farming operation.
But that's the problem, isn't it? People say that these are not the same as sheep or any other game animal. They're lions, they're the top of the food chain.
I don't see the difference. We are farming with it for capital gain, no doubt. I'm farming with lions for capital gain. But in the process, what people don't understand, they're not being abused. They're not being mishandled. They're not being mistreated. They're treated with the greatest of respect. And firmly we believe that it's also securing the future by having more, taking the pressure off the wild ones. And possibly, if need be, we can replace wherever they've been eradicated.
So just to be clear, are any lions released into the wild in South Africa that go through these safari parks or sanctuaries?
No captive bred lions have ever been released back into the wild in South Africa, and conservation authorities would never ever allow that to happen.
Look, always in lion hunting, the bigger the mane, the kind of better the trophy. So that is the reason why lion farming has been so successful.
Turning a big cat into a trophy isn't a pretty business. Once the head and pelt is delivered, it's left to skilled people like Katerina to recreate the fierce countenance of the live animal.
Well, you obviously have quite an affection for them. I mean, is it sometimes a bit sad to be doing this to them when they could be just roaming around free and alive?
I'm sad for the individual animal, but I do sometimes ask them forgiveness as well.
After drying the skin for 3 or 4 weeks, the trophy lions are given a final make-up session. UN wildlife records show 700 lions are exported as trophies from South Africa every year. Conservationists estimate it could be as many as 1,200.
I don't even understand the mentality of wanting to go and hunt. I can understand you want to go and shoot a buck down there because you're going to eat it. That is a different story. But this, you only do it for the skin, and why would you want to do it to such a beautiful animal?
Alex Laurenti is the chief lion handler at Lion Park, just on the outskirts of Johannesburg. As he shows me around, his fondness for the animals is evident.
Daddy's little boy, yes he is. Yes he is. He's Daddy's little boy.
The park is one of the biggest and most popular in South Africa, drawing thousands of tourists every month. Here, the petting of lion cubs is welcomed. Alex insists that none end up being hunted. Instead, he says, they are sent to reputable lodges and zoos around the world.
Being this sort of business, we cannot afford to sell to anybody who does hunting. We can't afford to do that. That for us is a killer. That will kill our business stone dead.
Why is that?
Well, who would want to go and touch a lion like this and then find out later it's been hunted? I personally wouldn't, so I don't think anybody else would. That would kill our business. That would kill our business.
Alex believes petting helps raise awareness of lion conservation, which is needed now more than ever. In South Africa, there are 4 times more lions in captivity than in the wild. A new demand in Asia for lion bones is adding to the pressure on Africa's lion numbers, which have fallen by 2/3 to 20,000 in the past 10 years.
It's only going to get worse. I mean, if it's gone down that in 10 years, what's going to happen in the next 10 years? Maybe this is all that's left for them. Hope not, but maybe it is.